assessment?
Goal assessment, yeah, let me check here real quick. So when we're doing a goal assessment, guys, we're gonna be looking in this book here. You can go back to this section right here.
Oh, I think I need to.
You're gonna go to this page in this book right here. You're not paying attention to these. These are actually education classes. You're going to go down here. Now, the goal assessment is just for members, okay, not guests. Guests can come to any of this other stuff, but they have to look down here to see if the member's down here. Now, you're going to have two abbreviations. You're going to have a GA for goal assessment. You're going to have an FF for fitness follow-up. We always want to ask about that because if they're coming in and they're on my book and you give them a sheet and they've already done one, then we're just giving two sheets. It's wasted paper. So you want to ask them, make sure, say, hey, is this your first time in? Oh, no, it's not actually my first time. Oh, okay, then you're actually coming for a fitness follow-up. So it's very important you put GA beside their name or FF for fitness follow-up. Once you find that and verify that, they're going to have the sheets right down here. When you open this door, down here on the third section of this little black cabinet is going to be the goal assessment sheets. Now, when you pull these out, what you're going to do is on the front part of this is the part they're going to be filling out. The back part is what the tech is going to do in the office with them. So what you're going to do is you're going to do what I'm going to do with LaKing here. I'm going to ask him to basically come on this side of the desk. So he'll come over on this side of the desk. When he sits down, I'm going to have him fill all this out. Now the way I always will say this is, and you got to remember this, if there's a tech in the office doing a goal assessment, it's important that the receptionist understands that if someone else comes in here for another follow-up, that they're going to have them fill out this sheet. That way when the tech comes out to do them, this sheet's already filled out. They've got 15 minutes to do a goal assessment. So when they're doing a goal assessment, we want to make sure this is completely done. It takes about 5 minutes of their time. So again, what I would do if LaKing was my client, I'm going to say, LaKing, if you don't mind, I'm going to have him fill all this out and just be as honest as he can with his answers. And then when the tech comes out, they'll get him, take him back, and they'll do the rest together. Okay, LaKing, we're going to actually go back here now together, and we're going to do your measurements, body fat, and your weight. Okay, so what you'll do after they fill out this sheet at the front desk, you're going to pull them over to the scale, and you're going to weigh them. So when you get them here, it's very important that you understand that, especially if you have a female, you want to make sure they feel comfortable with you, so that you're going to ask them, say, is it okay if I weigh you out here? And then if they say fine, then you're going to go ahead and set this by just pushing this on. Okay, here we go. So once it gives the 0, you're going to have them stand on it.
Shoes on.
Shoes are on. Okay, now once they step on here, you're going to wait till you get your reading. When it stops, you'll get it. Okay, go ahead and come over here and you'll see what we got. So we're going to get their weight. I'm going to write it down on here. Now when I write it down, I'm going to be writing it right here where it says weight. At this point, I'm going to ask them their height. I'll write that down too. I'll write today's date, and then we're going back here. Now remember, we got 15 minutes when we're doing one of these, so it's very critical that we have this sheet filled at the front. We go to the scale, we weigh them, we get their height, we get them here, and I always tell them this. Now LaKing, before you get all comfortable here, I'm going to come to the second drawer. I'm going to pull this body fat out. I'm going to pull out my measurement tape, and I'm going to tell them don't be seated till we get this done, and then we're going to measure them. When we measure them, we're going to have them stand basically right here, and you're going to go ahead and have them turn around this way. Now, what we're doing when we measure, and I don't really want to face that person, especially if it's a male to female vice. We don't want them to feel uncomfortable. So I'm just going to take the measurement tape with my one. I'm going to go across their neck. Now, each time I do this, when I get the measurement, like for instance, I get 16 on his neck, I'm going to come right back over here with my sheet of paper, and you're going to see where I have the measurements. So I'm going to literally have these. So I'll go to neck, I'll write my measurement down, then I'm going to go to chest. So when I go to chest, I'm going to have him turn this way. If it was a female, instead of saying chest, I'd say bust. So I'm going to hand this around here. I'm going to say, LaKing, if you can grab that, hand it to me on the other side here. Now I want you to put this on the largest part of your chest. Again, if it's female, you're going to say bust. You're going to ask them if they have it on the largest part. Once they get there, I'm going to connect it here. I'm going to ask them to drop their arms. And I'm going to get their measurement. I'm going to come back over here and I'm going to write it down. If I have a female on chest, I'm going to ask them if they have a sports bra or regular bra. I'm going to note that because it makes a huge difference when we do their follow-up assessment. If they have a sports bra, it's going to make the size a little bit different. Okay, then I'm going to come over here. I'm going to get their right arm. I'm going to have them put out to the side here. I'm going to go across the dead center of that arm and measure it, okay? When I measure that, if I have someone that's overweight and their arm's kind of down here, I don't want to pull up and get that tight. I want to barely have anything at all, just like a seamstress would do, where I can fit that shirt to fit their arm. So I'm measuring it here, and I'm telling them also go in their forearm. I'm going right here, dead center. I'm getting that. Now I got upper arm, forearm. I'm coming, I'm writing that down on my sheet. Next thing after that is waist. So when I do waist, I'm going to ask them to get this tape, hand it to me on this side again. I'm going to tell them to put it right across their belly button. And then I'm going to measure that right across here. Once I get that, I'm going to ask them to put their feet together. I'm going to go down to their hips. I'm going to say I'm going to do your hips, the king, so keep your feet together. So I'll get the waist and hips together. Then I'm going to come over here, write my number again for waist and hip. Now I'm going to come over here again. I'm going to say, look, king, if you don't mind, turn to your right, face that window. I'm going to get on the side of them, and I'm going to do their right thigh. I'm just going dead center of the right thigh, and I'm going to slide it down to their calf and get their calf dead center. I'm going to come over here. I'm going to write all that down. So now we've got all that done. Now, once I do that, I say, look, king, we're going to do your body fat. Now, if you've ever done that before, here's how easy it is. We're going to push this on button. When we do it, it's going to say right here, if you can see it, guest. I'm going to push click here. It's going to say normal. Now, if I push up or down, it's going to say athlete. We're going to keep it on normal. I'm going to push set. Now, it's going to give me their height. Now, his height, the king, what height are you?
5'9".
So I'm going to go to 5'9" and a half. I'm going to enter that in. I'm going down here to set. I'm getting the weight. Now, let's say, what's your weight, the king, if we were doing a set? 182. So I'm going to go up to 182 on him. Actually, you just keep holding like that, get it up there. Now I'm going to push set again. Now it's going to get me to get his age. When I do his age, I'm going to go up or down from 40. How old are you?
28.
So I'm just going down to 28. Okay, now I'm going to set that. Now it's going to say male automatically. If it's a male, I'll go set. If it's female, I'll push that. It'll show female. So in his case, it's male. I'm going to push set here. Now when I get that, I'm going to go over here with him. And I'm going to say, if you will, the king, grab this palms up on that metal right there and right here, thumbs up top. Now when you're doing this, I want you to hold it. Now when you're holding this, and you're doing an assessment, I'll show you, but you're just lightly grabbing their arm and tell them to not hold any tighter than that on here, because some people want to squeeze the fire of this thing. We don't want to squeeze the fire out of it. We don't want to lightly squeeze it. So we do that to show them an idea of what we want. I'm going to tell them when I push the start button to hold that till we get a number on bottom. So once I push it, it takes about probably 15 seconds. It's calculating. And then it's going to give me that. So I'm going to say, if you will, the king, let me go ahead and have that. And you'll see I have their body fat and I have their BMI. So once I get that, I'm going to say, the king, if you will, go ahead and have a seat and let's talk about all that. So once you've done all that you've done, you walked them front desk, you did their measurements, body fat, weight. Now you're going to sit down and talk about their goals. Remember, we only have 15 minutes here. So if I got LaKing here or any other customer here, my goal in here, this is a free assessment. It's not a paid assessment. So our goal is to steer them in what's going to help them best. Sometimes that's something we do free. Sometimes it's a paid session. But we don't want to sell them something they don't need. So the way I'm going to handle this is how I want you as a regular tech. I don't want you to go in real detail. Now remember too, if you fill one of these out yourself, you're going to have an idea that they're really doing a self-assessment. They already know by reading this and filling out if they're just totally screwing everything up or if they're actually doing good. Now, one thing I notice a lot of time when I get someone in here too, if they've already been working out a couple of weeks before they come in here with me, and I see that everything looks like it's doing good, and I see that they're still overweight, I'm going to ask them, hey, is this something you just recently started doing? And a lot of times they're like, yeah, I actually did. And then I'll say, let's talk a little bit about more what you were doing before you started that, so I can have some ideas. Now, when I do that, it's important that we understand that we're going over some questions here about nutrition. We're going some over strength training, cardio, whatever. And all I want to do in that 15 minutes is to see how I can steer them. Now, with that in mind, when you're doing that, you've got to kind of keep an eye. There's actually a clock right to the right side of me. I'm actually watching that clock when I'm in here with them. If I don't have anybody behind me, I may take a little extra time. If I have someone waiting, I need to get this thing done in 15 minutes. And I also want to leave the door open with them, meaning there's an open door policy here. If they leave out here and they have questions, just to get with me on the floor or maybe come to one of my education classes. Here's where I want you to accomplish when you're in here. Look that over. If anything just stands out to you, tell them what's going to be best to help them. Now, what I think helps them the most, let's say LaKing's new and he's doing a goal assessment. You can get into a discussion really quick, LaKing, with somebody where it goes 30 minutes. So what I want to do is we have some things in place. Over here, I don't know if you can see it on the camera here, but there's an information center here that has my education classes. Now we have it at the information center up front, but it's easier for me to get in here. So it has the education classes we do. So I like to always tell them that if you weren't told about it, we have some education classes that go over the what I call the Easy Journey to Fitness program, which is the 4 components of fitness, which is basically going over nutrition, which is asking them here, going over supplementation, cardiovascular exercise, and resistance training. It's ways to make sure they're heading in the right direction for their goals. The second thing is what I call a fitness challenge, and what it is a different sheet up at the front, but it actually shows you how to navigate our website. Now what it does, basically a lot of people that I see in the club, they don't have a clue about our website. Either we forgot to tell them during the tour, or they just maybe didn't hear it. So I want to get that sheet in their hand, okay? Now a third thing that's important is I made this a while back. A lot of people when they first start, they don't want to be overloaded with information. So in the bottom of the goal assessment sheets we did for the day is a little thing here. And what this is, if you get this in their hand, answer a lot of stuff here to where they know what, because what you're doing here is you're just really trying to find out their starting point. And on the back of the sheet, you're telling them after we did the assessment today that every 6 weeks you want to meet with them again. So when we meet with them the next 6 weeks, we want to find out what results they got. So what will happen right here in this sheet right here, it just says what makes Legends different. And it talks about what truly makes us different. And some of the things here is the Earn While You Burn program, incentives to get friends to join. But this is the part below what I want you to see once they've joined. Our fitness outreach program, it explains what it is, how to find our website, the virtual trainer on our website, the fitness challenge, the goal assessment every 6 weeks. And on the back side, it gives them some ideas of snacks, because you're going to give them an idea of how to eat. They're going to walk out with 1,000 questions. So if you give them this sheet, it's going to give them some ideas of how to get their meal plan. So remember, what I'm telling you on here is what I want you to basically say. I want to make it short and sweet. And once they get this sheet, then we'll make contact. Like when we have these sheets in front of us where y'all did an assessment, the next day, either I or one of our techs will come to this and we'll follow up just like we do at the front. We'll follow up with these people and we'll find out, hey, did you take those sheets home? Did you get it on the website? What questions do you have now? Where can we help you? And that's the time when we really try to steer them in a direction that will help them. Remember too, we're not just trying to sell this person something for coming to this office. The best time to sell someone on some of our services is once they get to know us. And that's typically on the 6 weeks follow-up time, not necessarily the first goal assessment. They've already joined up, they've already paid money here. Now if they need it, I don't want to turn them down, but I don't want them thinking, hey, we're coming here trying to pressure sell. So your goal in here in 15 minutes, quickly review that sheet, see if there's anything that really stand out, let them know about, did you get a goal assessment, not a goal assessment, did you get an orientation session set up? In other words, did you get someone to take you through one of the circuits? If you didn't do that, we do have it available. Not right now, while I'm making this video, we're currently doing it free. There's normally a charge for it. So remember, if you're doing a goal assessment anytime, you want to make sure if we have them free or if we're charging at the time, okay? But other than that, just keep that sheet in their hand, let them know about that information, and then they'll watch that, and when we make our follow-up call, we'll be able to cover more, because they may want to get a meeting with us for some of the stuff we carry. So anyway, this video was just basically give you an idea of what we do. I'll be making an actual another video soon that will actually show me just doing a goal assessment as if I had a client in here.